Hey everyone, it's Nancy and welcome to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my career story. If you guys have watched my video where I shared 5 things I learned after I quit my 9-to-5 job, that's what inspired this video. This video is actually requested by Nika. Thank you so much for watching my video. And she left a question asking me to share my career story. And within that, she asked her questions about how I picked my major in college, how I found my job, and navigate that whole career path, and also what led me to deciding that I wanted to become a full-time content creator. So I thought it'd be a natural fit after sharing that video to share this video. So I hope you guys enjoy, and it might be a little longer of a video. I would love to share with you guys what the whole journey has been, and I would love to hear what your journey is too, if you're going through something similar or you need just someone to kind of confide in your story. Hopefully you could find this relatable and that you are not alone in navigating this whole process, because I'm still trying to figure out myself, but absolutely love doing these sit-down videos, talking to you guys. So if you guys are ready, go grab a cup of coffee, go grab a cup of tea or water, and let's chat. So in college, I majored in business marketing, and that wasn't always my major. I went into college as a pre-business major, and when it was time to decide what major to be in, I actually chose accounting. And guys, I am not good at math or accounting whatsoever. So looking back, I chose it because I thought it was the stable route to go down. And maybe you guys will relate and feel that way too. So that's why I chose that major. And when I got into the classes, I was like, why am I here? I don't know how to do any of this. And I was freaking out. And around that time, I think it was like 2010, that's when I started watching YouTube videos. And it's funny because I was actually looking for a hair tutorial video on YouTube, and these were like the super early stages. And then I got sucked into like watching the beauty community, and then it led to me creating my own videos. And so it's a super sweet story because I love YouTube so much, because I think it really changed my life in a way where it showed me like digital marketing and social media and this whole new digital age. And so since I was unhappy with my accounting major and I sucked at it, I needed to do something else, but I wanted to stay in the business realm, because when you're a business major, you can kind of pick between like finance, marketing, management, around there, because we all had the same core classes that we've taken already, and I didn't want to like repeat like a whole brand new major. And it kind of worked out because marketing was available, and I switched my major over to marketing, which was awesome, so much better, and it felt like more of a natural fit for me. There are obviously super hard classes I still had to take, but it just felt so much more natural, and thank goodness that happened. It wouldn't have happened without YouTube. And it's funny, along the path there, I was starting to explore different classes, like hospitality classes, where you learn more about the hospitality industry, hotels, events, and those were a few classes I took too, but I didn't go down that route to major in it, but I really enjoyed that class. And that class and experience will come back later in the career story. But yeah, I picked my major in marketing and I absolutely loved it. And I also joined like a co-ed business fraternity. I knew I wanted to get more involved in school, because I wasn't a part of any like clubs or anything during the beginning half of my college career. And so when I did that, everyone was so driven, everyone had internships, and they mentioned how important it was. So I found an internship about digital marketing, and it was basically like a crash course into digital marketing. I learned about SEO, email marketing, digital marketing overall, website building, social media, wireframes, like all those things, like, because they didn't teach that at school at the time, which is really funny looking back, because everything is so digital now. It was very traditional marketing. No one really touched upon digital. And so I did that. I got an internship doing SEO, and looking back, I'm like, wow, I don't even know how I did SEO at the time, and I realized it wasn't my thing to go into a career with, but it was really important looking back. Granted, now that I have like a blog and a YouTube channel, SEO is really important, and so I'm grateful for the experience there. And so after that internship, this was getting close to me graduating, and so I knew I needed to look for a full-time job. And so I got a job at a startup, and they were doing SEO and social media at the time. I was like the 12th person hired. And so I'm fresh out of college doing social media, and I had no idea what to expect. No one tells you what life is gonna be like at work, like the corporate structure or just the agency startup life, and just people dynamics and just all those things, and work hours. Like, no one tells you this stuff. You have to learn it yourself, which is a good and a bad thing. And I mean, it definitely took me by surprise. And so during that time, Johnny and I were engaged, we were getting married, we were planning our wedding. So there was a lot of pressure there planning it. And I was there at my job for about almost 2 years. And so I quickly became very unhappy there because I realized I didn't really fit in as a person there, and I felt like I didn't have kind of the guidance that I was seeking. And at the time, I was very naive, thinking that once you get a job, you're automatically gonna have a mentor. Everyone's gonna be nice to you. And that definitely took me by surprise, because that's not what happened. And it was a life lesson learned the hard way. Not that people aren't nice out there, but I think my expectations going into the job, it was totally not what I expected at all. The 2 years I was there, it made me feel very drained. I felt like I lost my identity. I had such low self-confidence in myself. And it just felt weird. It was really wonky at the time. And I knew I needed to keep the job because I was paying for my wedding. And overall, I got to a point where I could not take it anymore. I think myself had become a negative Nancy, as I don't like that saying, but it was true, and I recognized it for myself. I was complaining to like my friends and family, and I knew it got really annoying, and this was not okay, and I had to do something about it. And it just wasn't for me, and that's what I've come to realize. After I got married, I took the leap of faith and I quit that job without having a backup plan. And this is around the holiday season when I quit, and so I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy this time with my friends and family and then figure out a job after. Throughout all of this, I've always wanted to do YouTube and maintain my channel, and I was posting videos throughout college, but when classes started getting crazy, I wasn't posting consistently anymore. And so even though I had built up viewership, it definitely plummeted, because if you are a content creator and you know if you don't post on YouTube consistently, it feels like you've fallen off the face of the earth, which is what happened to me. But in the back of my mind, my heart, I always knew I loved YouTube. So after I quit my job, I thought it would be like the perfect time to dive right into YouTube, but then I realized how drained emotionally I was, and that I wasn't even able to take care of myself. So how can I create content to share with you guys and make you guys happy? And it just wasn't there. Like, the timing wasn't right, and I knew it. And so at that time, I took care of myself. I had to just kind of take a step back and figure out what I wanted. And so I was unemployed for about 4 months after I quit my job. And then I kind of went back to thinking like, okay, well, maybe was it social media that I didn't like, or was it the environment? Like, what environment do I want to be in that I can thrive in and actually like? And so I realized that the agency life was not for me, and so I didn't want to go back to that life. And so that was helpful, recognizing that. So if you are trying to figure out what environment you guys are thriving in, definitely think about those things, because you have a choice in where you want to be. And so I realized agency life, not for me. And then I thought back to my hospitality classes back in college. I loved hotels. Like, I love that whole industry. I think it's so cool and fascinating. So I thought about that, and I really like social media still. So I'm like, okay, is there a job for me where I could do marketing in the hospitality industry? And so once I thought about that, I saw a posting on LinkedIn. After searching for months for jobs and not hearing back from anybody, I saw a job posting for a hotel in San Diego, and they were looking for a social media specialist. And it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I applied and I got the job after like a 2-week interview process, and I was so nervous because at that point I had very low self-confidence in myself, but I knew, like, I need a job. I need to do something, and I really wanted it, and it felt like such a good fit. And so after 2 weeks of interviewing, I got the job. And this job, I had it for almost 2 years, and that was the job I've recently left. And during my time there, I absolutely loved it. It challenged me in such good ways. It gave me so much freedom to really develop as a content creator. I did everything there. I posted, I created content, I was able to build relationships with people in the hotel and like the different departments. So it was such a great job to have in that time of my life, and everyone was so sweet, and it helped me build up my self-confidence. I was able to help support my other team members, and just it was such an awesome experience, and I was literally blown away of how like good of a fit it was. During that time, I really ramped up my YouTube channel and my blog, and just being more engaged in Instagram and like the blogging content creator community. And so I've always loved doing that, and it felt like I had a happy balance between like my 9-to-5 job and my YouTube life. And then as time went on, like I started thinking about how in the future, when John and I want kids, I wanted to be able to have a flexible schedule and work for myself. I didn't know what that looked like at all, but that was always kind of the goal in the background. And so once that kind of crept a little close and we started talking about it more, I was just thinking like maybe now is the time to just kind of leave my 9-to-5 job and dive right in to see if I could work for myself. And I've never done that before, and it was one of the scariest things to do because it felt like I was having like a mini identity crisis because I did like my job, and towards the end I realized that I was kind of capped out at where I was in my position, and I wanted something more. I wanted something different. But that job I will be forever grateful for because it was just amazing and for that time in my life. So I took the plunge. It was the crazy experience because at that point, I don't know if you guys are super into like seeing signs or trusting your intuition, but like during the week leading up to me resigning, I didn't even know I was gonna resign at that time, but I felt it in my gut. It was almost giving me like a physical reaction of like how I felt emotionally. So I knew I had to like trust my gut. It was the scariest thing ever. I resigned, and for once I knew that I like kind of had control of what I was doing and where I was going. I was quitting so I can go pursue my own thing to see if it will work. And if I didn't have Johnny, if I didn't have my parents, and FYI, Johnny and I are still living at home with my parents to save money. If it wasn't for the situation that we're living in right now, I wouldn't be able to do this whatsoever. So I wanted to take that leap of faith just to see where all this would go. And it just felt so right. It gave me like a new energy that I didn't have before, that I lacked at my previous job that I just left. But I always knew and had a feeling that I want to work for myself. And it's really funny because before I like envisioned myself like being in the corporate structure, climbing the ladder and doing the day-to-day, and I had no problem with that whatsoever. But actually going through and experiencing it for myself, being an agency, working in-house for somebody, it just made me feel like I was able to do it, but it wasn't as satisfying as I thought it would be. And I knew that a lot of people were freelancing and working for themselves, and it looked so rewarding being your own boss. And I know it's a hard route to take too. It's a lot of hard work, but it just made me feel so free. And that's the feeling I get when I create YouTube videos or when I am blogging or just being able to do work for myself. Like it gave no other feeling like this, and I want to see what it'd be like if I went full force and pursued it to see where it would go, because I knew that a 9-to-5 will always be there. If like this whole YouTube thing didn't work out, or just pursuing side income for myself, I knew a 9-to-5 would be there. So I was okay with leaving my job just to see where this would go. And that gave me a lot of courage. And so far, when you guys are seeing this, I am a little over 2 months out of my 9-to-5 job, and so far it has been really good. I've been able to hang out with my friends and family, but also a huge struggle because you would have days where you would feel like, oh my gosh, am I making any progress? Am I gonna be okay financially? Do I even know what the heck I am doing? You ask yourself all these questions and you go through this flow. Like, it seems super glamorized. I know when people say they work from home and do all those things, but it's definitely been hard because I'm still trying to figure it out. And I don't have all the answers whatsoever, but I think at the end of the day, the feeling of knowing that I can work for myself and that I am in control of how hard I push and like the results, and just having control of like where I want my life to go, it makes me so excited. Even though I'm in the unknown right now, it's scary as hell. And it's crazy looking back, because when you're in the middle of it, when you're in your job, it feels like that is your whole world, and it's gonna take forever to get to where you want to be. but like being out of it now, it felt like the process happened so fast in like a blink of the eye. And really that whole thing, I mean, I graduated 5 years ago. 5 years is a pretty long time, and so it's crazy all those things that have happened, but I know, like looking back, that they needed to happen. I don't think I would be ready to do YouTube if I didn't have my last job. I didn't have the self-confidence, I didn't have the skills, or just have a good idea of where I wanted to go. And that is when I knew that like timing is everything. Even though I wanted YouTube and this kind of lifestyle in the past, I don't think I was ready for it. And I think the universe or whatever out there knew that I had to go through these things to learn a lesson each way and like to challenge myself. And so it all kind of makes sense looking back at it. Isn't it funny when you look back retrospect how things actually kind of make sense? Like all the little things that you experience in your life kind of adds up to like where you are now, and you can kind of see it as a map. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up here, trying to work for myself, trying to figure it out. And I'm so excited to share this journey with you guys because it's definitely hard and it definitely feels lonely, even though you have people cheering you on, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, it's really just up to you, up to me, just to do the thing, just to do the work, to keep ourselves pumped, be our #1 cheerleader and coach through it all, because no one else is doing it. It's really just down to us, and it's scary. Just want to let you guys know that you're not alone if you guys are in this journey as well. I am here for you. We can always chat. But yeah, I'm so grateful that I get to share this with you guys, and you guys are so supportive, because this is truly a scary thing to go through, but also rewarding at the same time. So I'm excited I could be here to help support you guys, and I'm grateful that you guys are here listening to my story if you made it this far. I know this has been a really long video, but I'm grateful that I can share this with you guys here. So hopefully I helped answer this question. This is probably a really long career story video, but thank you so much, Nika, for asking, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. I post new videos every single week covering different lifestyle topics just to inspire you guys to live happily, and I'm so happy that you guys are here. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.